Hi, I'm Crystal Bowman. I work with high-achieving couples like doctors and dentists, like something that took a lot to get there. And today I want to talk about scorekeeping. First, I want to start with a story. When I was growing up, my dad was a doctor, and my mom, she was our stay-at-home mom. She did all the child care, a clear division of labor. And I didn't even fully understand what I was witnessing back then. It worked logistically, but I could feel something, like a quiet tension building, resentment. I didn't know what to call it, but that stayed with me, and I didn't want to duplicate that portion of their marriage. So fast forward to when my husband and I had our first child. We had no idea what we were doing, but I was adamant that we were going to share the work. This was going to be both of us raising her and taking care of her. My husband, he was in school and working, but he seemed to have a lighter load that year, so it was actually probable and possible, I guess, to make a deal. And so the deal was I would feed the baby at night, and if she kept crying after that, it was his turn. Sounds like a perfect plan, right? What I didn't realize was logistically it sounded like that would work, but on kind of covertly, I opened an Olympic-sized, Olympic-leveled scoreboard in my brain. I started tallying every day. Who got up more, maybe who was pretending to be asleep, who felt they needed a nap the next day because of their partner. Spoiler alert, it was me. At first, it felt like teamwork. Felt like we were doing it together. But the more I kept the score, the less I could see what he was actually contributing and doing. And I always felt like he was doing it wrong, which meant I got an extra point. So even when he helped, it didn't count the same. I valued, it seemed, my efforts more. I tripled the points if it was me doing it who had to clean up the spit up. I noticed that his workload didn't seem to be important on my tally anymore. I stopped seeing his efforts, and instead I started believing some lies. And maybe this sounds familiar to these lies. Have you ever thought this? My partner just doesn't even care. They think that my time doesn't matter and theirs is more important, or they're leaving it all to me. What started as a dream, building this family, this was what we were hoping for, turned quickly into disconnection and resentment. We started seeing the worst in each other, which is the opposite of what we wanted. That's not the family we wanted to create. Does this sound familiar? Let me give you one thing that helped me get out of it, and we can talk about more down the road. Number one, drop the scorecard. Seriously, burn it. Marriage is not some sort of test or some sort of, those old scales where we have to keep it exactly even. There's no way, and there's no trophy for who's suffering most. While you're at it, I'm inviting you to start noticing what your partner's actually doing, what their heart is, where their heart is, instead of what they're not and what they're not doing. We can start practicing gratitude again, real gratitude, not thanks for doing the dishes while you're slamming the cupboards. Like really, a heart of gratitude creates more joy in the world for you. Look for the effort, even if it's not your style of effort. When I started doing that, I realized he was showing up. We were just really tired and scared. Everything was new. So to be clear, marriage is not always 50-50. Some days it feels like 80-20. Some days it feels like 150 and 10. That does not work. I think you know what I mean. You're a team. That's why you started this dream. And when you start to treat your partner like an enemy, you both lose. So if your scoreboard is running in the back of your head like mine does still sometimes, this is your permission slip. Notice I'm keeping score. Shut it down. That's my suggestion of managing that scorecard and changing that pattern. So I'm just here to remind you that marriages, in high-achieving marriages, are amazing. You can be so successful in so many areas, but it's really hard to translate those skills to the most important relationship you have. So I'm here to remind you that this isn't about who's right and who's wrong. This is about finding connection again.